My name is Charlie Swan, and I'm the husband of this lady right here. I come a long way to say this, too. I don't think we're too much different down in Alabama than we all came from. It might be on a heavier scale here. In our state, we have wide-range corruption. Some of the universities have taken their names off the buildings that some of these rich people have donated, and they're in trouble and fixing to go to prison. That's where our corruption is in Mississippi. Nancy and I got to talking to Betsy and Zena here, and we feel like there's some real heavy hitters up here, some honest, brave people. So we're putting our stock in your hands.
And I'd like to interject at that point. I think this is a perfect opportunity. And I'm saying this personally, and you can, it's just my opinion, and you can, as my husband said, you can take it or file it away in the round file thing. But, it may feel good to say that there are no lawyers that fight for judicial reform. It may feel good to talk about the judges as the enemy and sort of pit non-lawyers against lawyers and reformers against members of the judiciary. And I just simply beseech all of you to seek balance as you seek judicial reform. Because as a member of the office of the court, I would suggest to you that to try to accomplish judicial reform without participation by the legal profession and the judiciary is an uphill battle, and I would venture to say that it's not going to happen. You need to reach out and involve all the different perspectives, reform-minded, honest, ethical people, and we need to work together. You need to bring balance. You can't just constantly be on the attack. And if you proceed in that way, you are much more likely to be effective. So it may feel good to let's go get them and it's us against them, but it needs to be all of us restoring the Constitution and the rule of law in this country. So that's just my personal.
All of us know wonderful lawyers and wonderful judges.
Exactly.
I just wanted to, excuse me please, I just wanted to make another point to go along with what Zena was saying. We were all at the Capitol on Monday when they were in the afternoon giving awards to the different representatives who have been fighting for whistleblowers and fighting for whistleblowers' rights. There were 11 awards given out to representatives there, both senators and congressmen. And it was a wonderful thing to see that their support and their staff were there. But let me tell you what happened, and this is what's going to happen every time, is that if you come in there angry, vocal, or maybe a little off color, you will lose them. Everything that you are fighting to accomplish will be for nothing. Because what we watched is after that entire session took place, the staffers stayed to listen to a few questions until an individual came up there wearing a T-shirt. That person never even made it to the podium before every staffer left the room. If you are going to be appearing before Congress, they demand respect, and you need to look respectful, and you need to be respectful, and you will get your message across better that way. Otherwise, it's because it's all about appearances, and it's, you might be upset about that, but that's a reality. And if you want to be heard, then you need to act that way.
Anybody? Well, I know I got you. You had a chance. You just make sure anybody else is wrong. What's the problem?
Okay. So it seems like one of the ongoing themes at this conference is the fact that we are pushing for congressional hearings. Why? Because we've tried the avenues through the judiciary. We've been stymied. And I'd like to know, my question is to Zena, there's a lot of groups here that would like to see, and that I've noted, dealing with my series in the interest of justice, that want to push for congressional hearings. It seems like this is a call for unity, so we can come together as a group. Could you comment on this idea of congressional hearings, Zena?
Well, we are going to issue a report to Congress as well as the general public. And what our report is going to be is a determination by the panel as to what they think should be the scope of judicial oversight, given what they've heard today. And to the extent that we have written input from members of the audience, we will also incorporate their opinions. Now, I don't know what the outcome of the report will be, because we intentionally brought in all perspectives. Not everyone on the panel is necessarily, well, most of them are reform-minded. But whatever their determination is, we're going to be making a recommendation to Congress, and then we're going to ask them to take specific steps, which will probably include a hearing.
Would a petition help, like an online petition, where we can get, literally hundreds of thousands of votes?
I think, what I thought was very important is first for us to reach a consensus on what it is that we are asking, what it is that we want to ask Congress to do. What do we think is the problem? What do we think is the solution? And we need to try to get those things articulated. A lot of times, right now, people may think that it's a waste of time to talk about what is the problem, but there is no one who has stated nationally and on a national stage exactly what is the problem. So,
Really? We have.
Well, I mean, what you say the problem is that there's judicial misconduct.
Yes.
And we're saying,
But
what we're saying is that the problem is when there are allegations of judicial misconduct, because until we don't have a forum to prove judicial misconduct, all you have are allegations. Because the only time you have proof of judicial misconduct is when you have an opportunity to come in an adversary proceeding, and you present your evidence, and they present their evidence, and an fair and impartial tribunal makes a determination of whether you have established or refuted judicial misconduct. But guess what? We don't have access to that type of forum. So what we've done is we've created a forum, and I establish that there is or that there's not judicial misconduct. Our forum is to say, when you have an allegation, what should happen to that allegation? Should it be presented under current government processes, or do we need another way of handling it? And what we're going to be suggesting to Congress, I think, is that, yes, we need another way. And I'm hoping to have everyone's input on what that other way should be. I proposed in my debate that what we had to have is some type of expanded, modified jury trial system that cannot be so easily manipulated by judicial officers. But that's what we're going to try to accomplish. And I think if we can get that done, we would have accomplished a
The
lot.
last part of my question is just very short.
Hold on. Okay. Well, let me get. I just want to. I'm going to get back to you.
Okay.
I want to get as many new people as we can.
All right. My name is Stephen G. Erickson. I'm going to be posting a video of this hearing on judicial misconduct, all one word, .blogspot.com. The Senate and Congress should be able to hear cases where citizens have been abused, because if you can't get justice in a court, you can't get it investigated, we elect officials to represent us. So why shouldn't there be a special forum where we testify in front of the U.S. Senate or Congress, and then the judges, prosecutors, and even police have to show up and testify honestly, or they're held in contempt. And judges should be arrested and prosecuted and even jailed when they commit malicious acts and just break the law. If you complain about a judge, I'll be brief. I complained about Judge Jonathan Kaplan in Connecticut on several cases, bias against landlords and self-employed. I went to elected officials. He then notified the state police that in Connecticut that I was complaining, so I was being followed around. Long story short, I had I ended up getting a year in jail for resisting being mugged on one of my properties. And on the other property, there was another felon police informant that was trying to get me there, so it was just a matter of time. 6 gang members in Connecticut recently got no jail time for murder. I resisted being mugged, and I didn't have any record. I'd been arrested previously because I was bit on my ear and I bled down to my underwear. I called 911. I'm trying to get the police to do something about the crack cocaine and heroin dealers in my neighborhood. And they just told me to shut up and mind my own business and go back to where I came from, or get arrested. So I'll post more on my story, but it can happen in America. But
you know, as a panel up here, one of the things that we're seeing here, most whistleblower conferences that I've gone to, we hear these horrendous stories, and again, I'm hearing people say the same thing over and over again, but something that Attorney Crenshaw just said, and that attorney, are you attorney, ma'am, by the way? No, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
No, I'm the daughter of Chief Whistleblower.
Okay, I mean, you spoke very well. I mean, I just want to say that the information that you provided about, the judiciary overview, one of the things that what I think is important, what we've got to be able to understand here is, as Attorney Crenshaw said earlier, we've got to be able to come up with a form. This mechanism that we're going through now is saying the need for a form so that we can actually have some Congress to have a body, and we can demand that, to say we want this body to be able to make a determination on all of these judicial misconduct complaints, allegations out here, because obviously there are many. There are many, and we're hoping that maybe if it doesn't happen under this, what we call this president's watch, the next one coming in will be more amenable to having this form, or having Congress to have this form. I mean, that's what we're pushing for right now. And it's very important that everything that's said in this room, that you guys get us your information, fill out these forms, get us your information, so that we can collectively sit down and decide how we want to present the argument, or how we want to present what we're requesting and why we're requesting Congress to do what we're asking them to do. Because you guys got these are some powerful stories that you're hearing here. And they need to hear it. Other folks need to hear it beside us in this room. So, go ahead, sir. I know you've spoken before, but just let us know. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. She did ask to speak. Let me, and then I'll give it to you.
I just want to say one thing that tags along with what Jim said and tying in with what Zena said as well. I've run over the last 12 years, and by the way, Carla Moskowitz, when I first appeared in front of her, I very nicely suggested that she had no case. There was no trust, there was no subject matter jurisdiction. I was dressed nice. I made sure that I looked very presentable. I spoke very nicely. I didn't raise my voice. Because something I've learned is that it is appearance. I grew up in the theater. My mother was in the theater. And I hate to say this, but we're not only actors in this theater called the judicial process, and it's a process. And just as an aside, I don't know if any of you saw the Broadway show Les Miserables, when they're all standing there just before they're all shot, they were terrific revolutionaries, and they had something to say, and they were wonderful about it, and they had a point, and then they all died for their cause. Well, we're not going to die for our cause, because we're going to continue this process, and we're going to be people who bring it to the next level with all the debonair of Jim and Zena and all of these people here and all of us together. We're going to do it in a way where the one thing that we have to remember is people don't want to admit that they were wrong. So what I want to do is when Judge Renee Roth retires at the end of June, and I'm recusing her this week, by the way. I'm writing a motion to recuse her in the Will Contest case. I want to say, she'll come to me and I wasn't wrong, and I said, oh, that's okay. We're gonna go forward, because when they have to admit they were wrong and you're screaming at each other and you're yelling and I hate you and, you know, they won't admit they're wrong, they will fight you to the death. So don't do that. Just remain there because we are going to win. We are.
Just one.
Okay.
I guess the thing that I want to say more than anything else, after listening to the gentleman there, listening to the lady here, and I don't know how many others have been arrested, but if you can sell to the whole U.S. of A., I'm serious. That is that what has happened to us can happen to anybody. Any one of us in here, anyone, anywhere, including those people on Capitol Hill. That's the way the system is designed. Maybe we'll get somebody to listen. It can happen to any of us.
Well, that's the biggest question, like I said, when I told Mike, y'all just remember this expression when people walk up here, they tell you, I never thought it would happen to me.
It happens.
Just remember this one from me. Just say to them, welcome aboard Enterprise. Because it does. And that's what, as there's an old saying, but for the grace of God, there goes I. So once we all begin to understand we're all in this together, then we can make a difference. The biggest thing is getting people to come out and get involved. A lot of folks making their money, they're doing well. I had so many people to tell me in my EEO complaint, Fogg, don't get involved, man. You got a great career in front of you. It doesn't matter if you see them beating citizens down or you see these officers doing something that they should not be doing. We all saw the other day what the Philadelphia police, we just saw them pull these guys out the car, kicking, stomping, and beating them and doing everything to them. And people sitting there watching that and, oh my God. Well, you know what bothers me with that whole scene is I know there's some officers that was there that probably realized this isn't right. But they realized what they were up against, that they were to speak out and say, I was there, it was wrong, it shouldn't have happened. And I tell people all the time, I say, if I walked up to you and I was at a scene and I saw him beat your son or your daughter to death, and then I came up to you and I said to you, look, I was there, I saw it happen, it was terrible what they did. And I'm just letting you know that I saw it and they should not have done what they did. And I was one of the police officers on the scene. Would you feel any better about me? And they beat your child to death? No, you'd probably be just as upset with me, more, because I sat there and saw it and didn't stop it. So it comes down to, when do we get involved? Do we wait until something happens to our personal life before we get involved? Or do we step up to the plate when we hear these stories and we realize that shouldn't be happening and it may happen to me? Okay.
I just want to add along this line. Judges, members of Congress, they can be retaliated against.
That's right.
Step on this other side too. But we launched a campaign, I think it was a couple of years ago, We Speak Up. And the objective of that campaign was to show through numbers support for those members of Congress who were at least advancing legislation that increased judicial oversight. Okay? And so the whole point was just to say, we're behind you. We support you. We appreciate what we did. What happened? What you're doing? What happened? Oh, that's a legislation. That's not going to be enough. And everybody didn't want to put the effort to generate the numbers that we could communicate to, for example, Congressman Sensenbrenner, one of the sponsors of the IG for the courts. He was supposed to send a representative today. So.
Did Elena send representatives? Do you believe that we should work with them? Did Elena send representatives?
The point is, did we ever send them any numbers that show we were behind them when that bill is languishing in committee?
That bill has been gutted.
Because what happens is
We don't want that.
we don't come together and we don't
Right.
support the
That's the
people
point.
who are stepping out there.
That's the point.
We complain that people are not championing judicial reform, and then when you get out there without a bulletproof vest, everybody scatters. We have to be able to support the people who are stepping forward, particularly the people who are in positions of power, particularly lawyers. If you want their support, you've got to, stop attacking them and support them when they step forward.
And it's a bipartisan issue, perhaps, the Sensenbrenner
What?
bill, which the past committee, we can talk about the IG goes.
One second.
No.
No, go ahead.
And then go ahead. Because it's just lingering. Go ahead. I've sat here through the hearing today, and I am
absolutely not an attorney and not that familiar with the law. But I represent today a lot of people who are at the absolute end of the food chain. So that when all of these bad things happen to you here, it's already happened to them. They already don't believe in the system, and with cause. It isn't that they don't believe in the system and they have yet to prove that what they're saying is true. The only difference here is that it is proven now because it's happened to people who are 3 or 4 economic steps above them. I like to say my group is a group that is the canary in the coal mine. It happens to them first. When the miners start to die, then the complaints come up. But the noxious gas was there all the time. The problem with this coal mine is that there is a lack of courage to be breathed in. That is what is missing. No matter whether you call it We Speak Up, whether I call it organizing a community, whether you call this the International Association of Whistleblowers, it is all still the same quintessential issue. There is not enough courage to go around. And those who exhibit courage are marginalized for it, and marginalized by people who don't have it and don't think it's acceptable to display it if they do have it. We have to somehow engender something that makes it all right to be brave and to do the right thing. All of this is because doing the right thing makes other people uncomfortable because it requires some amount of courage. They don't have it. They resent you for possessing it. And then they marginalize you and beat you down. Whether you put it in psychological terms or legal terms or sociological terms or organizing terms, it is still the same thing. And my big push in life is to find language that everyone understands. And that language is simple. If you're brave enough to stand up, you ought to have people around you brave enough to support you in that effort. Thank you.
Okay.
I don't know who you are, but I'll vote for you.
Okay. Listen, we're going to have to close out at 4 o'clock. We got 3 minutes to go. So,
It's fine. Oh, clean it up.
right. So we just want to get ready to wrap some things up. You got a brief comment you want to make? It's got to be brief, though. Okay. There you go. Oh, the mic.
Start with not admitting to the bar those who are perhaps too blind. You want to limit the bar lawyers to those who will not who will just do what they are told to do. Minor and tunnel vision. You can exclude it right away, not because you are an idiot or so forth, but just because this is character and fitness. This is why it's a secret, why there's no review and so forth. Once you become a member of the bar, then you have to keep your mouth shut. I am not aware of any single person who survived, who blew the whistle as a lawyer, and it actually goes as better law school than faster is this person demolished. That is goes actually, I can make a correlation. You see standard, I see standard, but
And it's the same.
Hold on.
With other field doctors, and it's the same with law
yes,
enforcement, police.
Yeah, but
we're all saying the same thing.
yeah, we're talking, then you have this, of course, once they shut you out, whether by disbarment or by lack of admission, then they have a pool of the, to select the judges, prosecutor, and so forth. Of course, those who have to march in the lockstep trail, once again. Then, once you get of course, the judges don't want to be overruled. They are also told and they, for the public image, because everything goes about the image. So,
And certainly, what you're saying is we're in agreement with you. We understand that. We
so
kind of covered that. Okay.
to improve this, you have to basically start from the bottom to get this entire oversight, the bar admission, disciplinary disbarments, everything has to stop to be secret.
Can you put that in writing? Because I'm with you. We're with you. I just need that microphone.
If anybody objects to being on this film, it's going to go on YouTube, please let me know now. All right? If anybody objects being on me using this footage for public purposes, please let me know now.
One thing is, are you going to also give us the disclosure that you're not going to edit or take it out of context?
Well, I won't take it out of context. I'm obviously with you. But you have to edit. I mean,
You know what I meant?
but I got you. I got your fantastic stories.
Yeah, I know. You know what I meant.
Yeah.
Right. I did talk with Michael and Zena how I'm going to just put the raw footage right on YouTube, the whole thing. All right? Right away.
Excuse me. I think as we close out today, excuse me. All right, one final moment. I'll use it early. I think we've had a wonderful Thursdays with wonderful citizens forum. I'd like to, absolutely. I think that we need to give all the participants, the panelists, the organizers, a warm round of applause. And then also in closing, I do want to say one thing is that with Marcel Reed, her comments are very profound, and that really is the way that we need to go. With the constituency that she represents, they fight the power, they fight the system from the bottom up. Whistleblowers, we fight the system from the inside out. We need to hook up together so that we can build the numbers, so that we can build the momentum to make change today.
And do we have everybody's contact email and contact information in this room? So when we send out information out to you, we got a sign-up sheet here. We'd like to get everybody's information.
Those of us who testified,
Email.
please get a copy.
But I'd like to get everybody's information.